Last year in 2023, the Peruvian anchovy fishery, which is the largest fishery that sells to the dietary supplement industry, had a canceled first season and a very small second season. So that meant that there was not a lot of oil supply available and the prices were very high. So now in 2024, the first season of the year has just finished and it was very, very good. So the quota was very high. The harvest was almost the entire quota. We're still waiting for the final numbers, but almost the entire quota. And the oil yield was very high. So this means that there will be 75,000 to 85,000 tons of fish oil available from this season, which is very good news for the industry. Yes, yeah, the prices were at an all-time high last year and they definitely have dropped this year. I think people are still watching to see what's going to happen with the second season of the year, which will be in the November-December timeframe. But in general, it's been good news for the industry. Absolutely. I think there's been interest already in other sources like algae and krill, and even other fish sources that just have a different profile than anchovy. The challenge is all of those other sources are still very small compared to a typical fish oil, in particular anchovy oil. But algae has been growing separately from the fish oil supply challenge, so it's definitely a category that has shown strong growth. Yeah, I guess we're talking about some of the technical challenges, and the big one right now that we're really watching is mineral oil hydrocarbons, which are a potential contaminant during omega-3 processing. And so there's a particular mineral oil hydrocarbon called MOA, which is a potential carcinogen. And so the European Union is looking at putting a maximum limit on that. The challenge is that the analytical methods to test products to that limit are not very sophisticated, so it's hard for companies to know whether or not they're below that limit because they can't always trust the test methods. Even the same product tested several times doesn't always get the same result. And then there's also interference from some interference in general with the oil. So it's very hard to know how to solve the problem if you're not sure what the problem is. Testing companies are working on it, so we think that this is a solvable problem, but we just need the test methods to catch up and the technology and understanding of the situation to catch up before there's a regulation in place that's too limiting. So that's what we're concerned about. So we have sent a letter to the European Commission to try and explain some of these issues, as have many other industries. This isn't just an omega-3 problem. There's vegetable oil. I mean, there's plenty of other oils that have similar issues. So we're hoping the European Commission will consider all of this and work with us to figure out what the best solution is. So that's the main thing that we're really watching right now. And the European Union is usually the first place that sets more strict standards for many different areas. So it's the starting point. But yes, we definitely think there's awareness of it in Asian countries now and awareness of it in the US. So it's something that is going to, we think, be something that will be a global situation. And we've talked a lot about that because the situation in Peru last year was a very big deal. And the question is it a result of climate change, or is it just El Nino, La Nina? Is it just a normal cycle? And I think the answer is we don't really know. It will remain to be seen. But you already mentioned krill and algae as options. There's certainly other omega-3, there's other oils that have EPA and DHA, not the same amount necessarily as the Peruvian anchovy fishery, but there's other high quality sources of oil that could play a role in the future. So it's a matter matter of companies and brands understanding that they have other options and being flexible in terms of what's available. So I think there's some education needed, but we feel optimistic that there are options out there if something like this does happen again.